Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Yes, it's the Skeptic Zone podcast, episode number 891 for the 2nd of November 2025. November already! Richard Saunders coming to you from Sydney, Australia. A bit overcast. We had a huge storm the night before last in the middle of the night. And the funny thing was, driving around yesterday, there were cars covered with petals and branches and leaves and flowers and all sorts of things from the downpour. But two other quick observations while driving around. I saw two children aged maybe 8 and 7 or something like that, riding a motorbike down the street. The driver had a helmet, and the little kid hanging on tight had no helmet. But this was on a busy road here in Sydney. It was an e-motorbike, and it's just beyond all sense of reason that any parent or guardian would let little children, ride powered motorbikes around the street. Absolutely shocking. The other observation I'd quickly make is I was doing a little bit of thrift or op-shop shopping. I wonder if you're like me. Do you like to visit lots of different op-shops and hunt for bargains and interesting things? I sure do. But as I look down, let me see. Oh yes, this shirt I'm wearing came from a op shop. A good way to have things recycled in our society rather than just throwing them away. Anyway, let's get on to today's episode. We're going to start with a look at something we've looked at before on the Skeptic Zone, a particularly ridiculous, nonsensical, laughable modality called Orgone Energy. Now, this is something that was made up in the last century. There's no reasonable prospect that it actually exists. It's like fairy dust or the ether or chi or prana or anything like that that's simply been made up. But people believe in it, and people make products supposedly harnessing this Orgone energy that can protect you and your house. Bizarre as it sounds, we're going to have another look at Orgone energy and people selling these ridiculous products online. And one of the videos I'm linking to in this week's show notes, I really hope you'll have a look. The video is called Biotensor Testing, and it is simply beyond belief. Following that, it's the Loons from Canada, Kate and Allie. Not our new reporter, Kate. This is Kate and Allie, as in Cat McLeod and Adrian Hill. And they head to MacEwan University in Edmonton to join Dr. Rodney Schmaltz and his Psychology 441 class to embark on a ghost hunt. And this is I love it, it's a fascinating report because it's like you're joining the students from the course on the ghost hunt, and they try different methods to contact the dead, including a Ouija board and something called a psychomantium, which Adrian has mentioned before on the show, which is a mirror in a dimly lit room, sort of at an angle. I'd like to see one. I'd like to try one for myself. And when you gaze into this mirror, you see all sorts of strange things happening to your face. Yes, I certainly would like to go there one day and join that ghost hunting class. Anyway, find out more when Kate and Allie go looking for ghosts. Then to round off today's episode, we go back to the digital archives, this time from New Zealand. And we look for references to skeptical activities in New Zealand. And this is part 1 of a part 2 series. I've discovered a new source of newspapers from the land of the long white cloud. Now, before we get into today's episode, another reminder. I reminded you last week, those people in Sydney, we this Thursday at Skeptics in the Pub, we have our new reporter and TikTok star Kate Thomas and her presentation live of Woo Watch, Staying Healthy Despite Social Media. And you can all do me a favour, if you know anybody in Sydney, or just for the hell of it, if you can promote this event. We want a really good turn-up for Kate. It's always a lot of fun at Skeptics in the Pub. There are also spoon-bending lessons. It starts at 6 p.m. at the Occidental Hotel near Wynyard train station in Sydney. But if you could just share the link you will find in this week's show notes, that would be fabulous. Well, that's enough for me at the moment. It's time for me to run downstairs and have some yummy, yummy, yummy roasted salted peanuts in the shell I discovered at my local shopping mall the other day. I sort of wish I hadn't discovered those because I've bought 2 bags of them already and the 2 bags are almost gone. Oh dear. Well, I do that. I hope you enjoy the Skeptic Zone. Orgone, not gone. Once again, we're going to be taking a look at the claims of Orgone Energy. Now, we've covered this on the Skeptic Zone before over the years in various ways. It's something you see at Mind, Body, Spirit festivals, people selling Orgone devices. And Orgone, according to Wikipedia, Orgone is a pseudoscientific concept variously described as esoteric energy or hypothetical universal life force. May the force be with you. Originally proposed, concocted, invented, out of whole cloth, I guess, in the 1930s by Wilhelm Reich and developed by Reich student Charles Kelly after Reich's death in 1957. Orgone was conceived as an anti-entropic principle of the universe, a creative substratum in all of nature, comparable to Mesmer's animal magnetism. It goes on to say Orgone was seen as a massless, omnipresent substance, more closely associated with living energy than inert matter. And Wilhelm Reich was doing things like creating machines aimed at the sky to influence the weather, or cabinets one would sit in called the Orgone Energy Accumulator, which would presumably be of benefit to the person inside. And indeed, here's a picture of one of the cabinets and also a picture of Reich and one of his cloud busters, a device which supposedly could influence weather by altering levels of atmospheric orgone. Now, of course, one might be tempted to think that something so silly and ridiculous, well, to us, to certain people at the time, hey, maybe it was worth a go and maybe there was something there, we're always discovering things. But anyway, something like that would have been a footnote in history, and it sort of is. But for the fact there are still people out there who firmly believe in it and are selling products based on it. Products that, in the opinion of the skeptical movement, are useless, worthless, baseless. They cannot work. There's no principle behind them to work. And if they do appear to work, then the most obvious explanation would be placebo when it comes to devices claimed to benefit your health. And we'll be getting to that soon. Now, the reason I have mentioned Orgone is because the other day I came across a video selling these products by one Monica Smit and her mother Lise, L-I-S-E. And Monica Smit is, shall I say, notorious in Australia as being an anti-vaccinationist and anti-lockdown protester. And according to Wikipedia, she is the founder of Reignite Democracy Australia, RDM, an anti-lockdown and COVID-19 conspiracy group. Smit gained prominence during the COVID-19 pandemic as a critic of the Victorian government's response. And I won't go too much into that aspect. That's not really the focus of today's segment. But I will link to a web page which fleshes this out somewhat more. However, it is pertinent to mention that she is in debt to a large extent owing to legal costs with her various legal battles owing from actions taken during the COVID-19 years. Again, not exactly the purpose of today's segment. Now, the videos I saw are located on her YouTube channel. We'll link that. There are 2 or 3, including one which is a chat with one Jared Binney, who is the founder of a group, an organisation, a company called Orgone Effects Australia, but more about that soon. Now, on the videos, you will see Monica and Lise Smit talking about various products and talking about how they work and what they're good for. Mostly, it is claimed that they are good for radiation protection. Now, in the minds of some people, the modern world is flooded with naughty, bad, evil radiation, which affects your health. And these products, worn on the person or patched on the phone or plugged into the wall at home, will somehow magically protect you from this evil radiation. There are various devices that are claimed to protect from electronic frequencies, they say, whatever that means, and harmful radiation, harmful energies. And of course, many of these products are based on the claims of Orgone Energy. Now, getting back to Wilhelm Reich, briefly, according to a segment from the Wikipedia page, the scientific community dismissed Reich-Orgone theory as pseudoscience. James Strick, an historian of science at Franklin and Marshall College, wrote in 2015 that the dominant narrative since Reich's death has been that, quote, there is no point in looking more closely at Reich science because there was no legitimate science from Reich, end quote. It is also worth noting that the late racing car driver here in Australia, Peter Brock, was a believer in Orgone Energy and won the Bent Spoon Award from the Australian Skeptics in 1986 for his promotion of an energy polarizer, which he claimed, when attached to the firewall of a car, improved its performance in all fields. It didn't. Now let's look at the pages of the Skeptic magazine, published at the time. In fact, this is from 1987, but it talks about the 1986 Bent Spoon Award. And don't forget, all the back issues of the Skeptic magazine, bar the last couple, are yours to read at your leisure at skeptics.com.au. Bent Spoon Award for 1986 goes to Peter Brock and his energy polarizer. In a year that saw the usual run of psychics promoting their usual run of usually wrong predictions, 1986 and the start of 1987 also saw some rather unusual examples of paranormal events, all potential winners of the Australian Skeptics Bent Spoon Award. The judging committee for the Bent Spoon Award rejected the visiting American woman who filled venues in most capitals, claiming to teach the cash-paying public how to, quote, tap the universal force, end quote, and enable them to bend cutlery. The committee considered, not entirely seriously, that this may have been organised by the Cutlery Manufacturers Association in an effort to boost flagging sales. Why else would they want anyone to mass bend spoons? Another strong contender was Xanax Limited, which paid Israeli magician and alleged psychic Uri Geller $250,000 US to find the location of gold mines. The judges rejected this story as Xanax appeared to be more a victim than a perpetrator of a psychic scam. In the event, it was agreed that one outstanding example of pseudoscience of the year was the so-called energy polarizer being promoted by top Australian racing car driver Peter Brock. The story of how the Australian Skeptics became involved in the EP affair, energy polarizer, reads like the plot of a Le Carré novel and is recounted in this issue. Mr. Brock joins a distinguished list of winners of the Bent Spoon Award, which includes the Fine Horn Foundation, the Melbourne Metropolitan Board of Works, and psychic Tom Ward's. Now, the item in this magazine, this particular issue of the magazine, let me see, page 6, here it is, Peter Brock's Energy Polarizer by Barry Williams. It's very interesting and very extensive. It's extensive with all sorts of correspondence at the time and other investigations. Energy polarizer, what is it? A high-technology energy device which creates a polarized or ordered molecular arrangement as distinct from the normal random structure. This alters the behavior and characteristics of materials and components in the vehicle. Surprised it doesn't make it blow up. Noted improvements to vehicle performance include smoother, quieter, more stable ride while handling wet and dry, improved economy and drivability, quiet, smoother and more efficient engine running and flexibility, reduced wear characteristics. And it goes on and on and on. That's a very interesting story. It's worth reading. And you know what? I might persuade Tim Mendham to read this for the Book of Tim in the not-too-distant future, since we're talking about Orgone Energy. But getting back to the matter in hand. Many of the Orgone devices sold via Monica Schmidt are sourced from a business in Victoria called Orgone Effects and can be seen at Mind Body Spirit festivals. The overriding sales pitch from this company goes along the lines that our modern society is flooded with bad energies and their products can protect you from them. Some of the claims made in the promotional videos include a block of curved resin infused with frequencies, a meaningless term, and with a sticker on the base to reflect biophoton light can protect from energies that are detrimental to our Chinese meridians, a fictitious part of the body. These protections include against vaccine shedding, 5G radiation, Wi-Fi radiation, streetlights, and smart meters. The effectiveness of Orgone devices can be tested with dowsing rods, biotensors, and applied kinesiology. All are debunked modalities based on self-deception. One of the videos includes a demonstration of a biotensor, and it is clearly being moved. And for those of you who have never seen a biotensor in action, I will link a video in this week's show notes. Please don't laugh out loud if you're in a public area. A bracelet infused with biophotons can add energy to your Chinese meridians to protect from other people's energies. A block of resin with an embedded plug, GeoCleanse, can be plugged into a power socket in the house to protect from bad energies and attracts birds to your backyard. This product was the subject of a Choice magazine report in 2017, and to quote the report, "Our testing shows GeoCleanse has all the effectiveness of a tinfoil hat and lacks the hat's potential for use in food preparation." And another link coming up to that report from Choice magazine, where they make no bones about the fact that this product is useless. Our bodies are negatively charged and technology puts out positive energy. This messes up our meridian system and clumps the blood. The products on sale can protect from Epstein-Barr virus, also known as human herpes virus 4. Doctors will often not detect Epstein-Barr virus, but naturopaths and homeopaths can. A small round sticker placed on a mobile phone can protect you from 99.95% of radiation and reduces heat from the phone by 80%. The shield it creates extends out to a meter from the sticker. And one of the points made in the video is that this meter shield can also protect infants. Yep. Now, it would be very easy to put these products to a simple double-blind test using, as they do in the promotional videos, using the biotensor, which is like a wand with a very wobbly bit of metal and a ring at the end, which bobs and dances up and down. Purely ideomotor action. It's no better than a dowsing rod. We could use their own devices to test these products, the Biotensor to test the Orgone Energy. In 2016, I offered Orgone Effects our $100,000 challenge while visiting the Festival of Mind Body Spirit. Needless to say, nothing happened, and 6 months later, security was called when I again visited their stand. When I ordered one of their phone patches online, the order was cancelled when they realised I was from Australian Skeptics. Now, we can suspect that Monica and Lise Smit truly believe these products actually work. I don't think they've got the educational scientific wherewithal to realise that they're bunk. And it would seem to me that they've been seduced by the ideomotor action and the placebo effect. Be that as it may, what they are selling via the website, in the opinion of Australian skeptics, do not and cannot work as claimed. They are based on pseudoscientific concepts and debunked modalities. Orgone Effects has been in business for many years, and we can only wonder why action has not been taken against them by Consumer Affairs in the state of Victoria. They use the fact that they're still in business to validate their products. There are laws against selling products that do not work as claimed, and surely it can only be a matter of time before Orgone is gone. Now, there's a lot to take in there, and I suggest you have a look at some of the videos that I will link to in this week's show notes and some of the other items. I think you get the biggest kick out of this Biotensor device, which is just a glorified dowsing rod which bobs up and down. It's it's simply hilarious. Orgone Energy, still around after all these years, and still just as effective as it ever was.
Only 2 weeks ago, I didn't have a stem cell to my name. I was riddled with parasites and rattled with the heavy metals in my system. Kate's snailgasm allowed me to plug into my own heat signature and activate my neutrinos. I now have 5 billion stem cells. I'm parasite and heavy metal free, and without Botox have reversed my age by 20 years. 2 weeks ago, I was 85. Now I have a neutrino age of 25. Oh, hang on, that's 40 years.
Actually 60.
Oh, hang on, that's 60 years. I guess Kate's snailgasm can fix everything except my capacity to do maths. I'm Annie McCubbin, and the podcast is Why Smart Women. See ya.
It's the Loons from Canada. Here's Kate and Allie.
Hey, Kate.
Hey, Allie, how are you doing?
I'm really excited because we are about to go on a ghost hunt at Concordia University.
Ooh, it's so spooky and fun.
I know, in the hallowed halls that echo. This building is over 100 years old.
And there's several ghosts to be found, apparently.
With interesting names.
Yes, including Larry.
I know, it's such a spooky name.
This is the worst ghost name in history.
That's so true. And it is, again, Rodney Schmaltz's class from his Psych
441.
Thank you. You're better with numbers than me, apparently.
At MacEwan University.
And we go to Concordia because it's spookier and older.
And haunted.
Of course. Well, hopefully we'll find some ghosts this time.
Well, let's get looking.
Is that a good one?
That's a good one.
So I'm sitting in a room right now with Rodney Schmaltz and Kat McLeod, and we were about to undertake a ghost hunt, and we just set up something really exciting. Rod, what is it?
We set up a classic psychomantium. This is a mirror and some dimly lit candles that are flickering, and if you stare into the mirror, supposedly you will be greeted with a face or a distortion that is of a ghost. What's actually happening is that the rods in your visual system are being activated because it's dim light, and rods aren't very good with sharp images, so you're getting this distortion. So it creates the illusion. It's the face mirror illusion.
Yeah, and I just kind of freaked myself out because I was the guinea pig, and I got to stare into the mirror in the dim light, and yeah, it was a little creepy. I turned kind of ghostly with white eyes, and it was really creepy.
You didn't feel like scrying and, talking to your future self?
No, I just went, ooh, and Rod turned on the lights.
We don't want anyone to get too scared.
I'm looking forward to this.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's hope we survive the night.
Yes, we are again looking for the ghost of Larry. So our ghost hunts go throughout the city, but we've done Concordia for a few years because there are so many excellent ghosts here. So Larry the skeleton ghost is supposedly in the library, and this, I think, is the year we're going to find him.
I'm standing here, and what room is this?
I don't. What room?
What's it called again? That mirror thing.
Psychomania?
Yeah, it's like psychomantium. Yeah.
Psychomantium?
Yeah, the
Psychomantium.
Psychomantium. And who have I got here?
Bria.
Farron.
Denon.
Soul.
And we are all going to try and get a little freaked out in the mirror. We're going to turn the lights out and see what happens.
We've got a Ouija board here.
We have a Ouija board too.
Just arrived.
So who's going to sit there first?
Me.
And it should take 1 minute to 2 minutes, I believe, is what he said.
Oh my gosh, guys, it's actually.
Because it's creepy, right? We've primed ourselves. All I did was walk up to her, and I freaked her out. She saw me out of the corner of my eyes, but she was talking about being an old person.
I get so scared easily. But yeah, I know, my face kind of faded and I started to look like an old grandma.
Wow. Okay, who's next? And who's this?
Bria.
Okay, I see it.
Did you?
I do. I did, yes.
What did you see?
Definitely looked old, and I looked like I had a really bad tan going around my eyes.
Who's next?
I can't see very well.
I think that's the point.
It is creepy. Oh my God.
So did you see something change?
I just feel like it's not me in there, Like when your eyes are moving, you can't see them like looking back and forth. So it feels like something else is looking at you, even though you know it's not.
So it's very much like what they say. It's like looking at a ghost.
Weird, yeah.
And you can imagine if you didn't understand the phenomenon about the rods, it would be really terrifying, I think. Okay, last person.
And also very afraid.
You're a skeptic.
And I think that's totally fine, right? Is to understand what's going to happen, but still be afraid. Nothing happened?
Not too much, no.
Oh, interesting. So you might have good vision too.
I might. I just saw that.
Did you?
I did.
So moving the light away for you worked.
It seemed to help, yeah.
So welcome to Ouija Board Center. Have any of you ever used a Ouija board before? You have? Yes.
Is anyone other than Larry here with us?
He's pointing to H.
Oh, okay.
Harry. Larry and Harry.
Yeah, maybe it's just a miscommunication.
Oh. Oh, no, it's trying to spell. A or O? O. Oh, no. O. N.
Where's it taking
Off the
us?
board.
What does that mean when it goes off the board?
Okay.
He doesn't want to talk?
He's forcing us to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Who's moving it? Larry's speaking to us. He has a twin named Harry. Ham. It's spelled ham. Ham.
What does this mean?
Thanksgiving already happened.
Oh, maybe he's American.
Oh. Maybe he wants a burger.
Americans do like burgers.
Ham. Is it Larry Hammond? L. What is it? Hammond.
Hammond, comma, L for Larry.
Oh. Hammond, Hamlet. L. Yeah. Why are we going over here? We're going all the way over to yes.
Oh, yes.
now.
You were right, Hammond, comma, L.
Larry Hammond?
Larry, did you have a cat?
I think he's going over to no. No.
Are you more of a dog person?
I don't think he likes
I don't
animals.
think he likes pets. I don't think he likes pets.
How fun was that?
So fun.
I have the second group in I call it the psycho room, because I can never remember what it's called. And who have I got here?
Catherine.
And?
Lauren.
And have you ever been on a ghost hunt before?
No, first time.
First time as well.
And have you found any ghosts yet?
So far, Larry, last name maybe Holman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Correct. And he's not a fan of cats or dogs.
Oh, and how did you find this out?
Through the Ouija board.
So we're now going to see if this works with the mirror. And do you know what to do for this?
Stare into our eyes?
Exactly. Now, I moved the candles back because we were finding they were just a bit too bright. But if you can't see yourself, because it depends on your vision, I'll move the lights a little closer. So go for it. Too dark?
Yeah.
The last fellow, nothing happened. So I moved the lights away, and then he said it got real creepy. Is that better? Can you see yourself now?
Kind of.
You don't want to see yourself well.
Oh, okay. Just stare at my eyes.
Yeah, stare at your eyes. And then there is spooky silence.
I don't see anything, but I feel like my eyes look weirder because I can barely see my right eye.
And what's interesting with that is the light is closer with your right eye than it is your left eye.
It is.
I've stared at myself for too long.
You can take a break. But you did see a little bit.
A little bit.
But not a lot, yeah.
No.
Can you see yourself okay?
Yes.
I saw my own eyes move.
Those are different experiences. It's the one eye and then your eyes moving. 2 of the others said that their mouths got bigger, and 2 said they looked old suddenly.
Oh.
Now I'm priming you.
Yes. Why does my mouth seem smaller now?
So your mouth went small.
It was like, oh, it can't be the same. I thought my eyes like got wider and like rolled a little.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think mine is like my eyes feel like they're, or like they look like they're darting.
They're darting.
Like moving around, wandering.
It looks like my pupils are getting huge.
It looks like I have black eyes.
And that's on the mini mirror.
Now I do feel like I'm looking older, but now that's just because you said it. Perchance.
I think priming definitely has an effect.
Yes.
For sure.
I think I see what you mean about the older, because I feel like my eye bags look huge.
Yeah.
Is it working?
These 2 really like the small mirror.
Yeah, you can like barely see them. It's like no color exists.
Yeah.
So who have we got here?
Sarah.
And?
Autumn.
Hey, and have you guys ever been on a ghost hunt before?
No. Yeah, first time.
This is the freakiest room, I think. You know what to do. You just stare at this. If it's too bright, like, can you just barely see yourself, or is it pretty?
It might be a little bit bright.
A little bit bright, so I'm going to move this. We found that this was about right. How's that? Did something happen?
My eyebrows and eyes are like kind of like shifting up and down, and my nose is like shifting up and down. I don't want to look at this.
I don't blame you. It's a bit creepy, huh?
Yeah, that is very unsettling. I feel like I'm like watching my like eyes, like, you know, when you're holding like binoculars and they kind of twist up and down. I feel like that's happening to my face. That is so, I don't like that at all. That's really scary.
Well, the one common thing is everybody finds it creepy. Even though we know it's just our rods being weird.
Yeah, when I was just looking at my eyes, it looked like I was smiling, but I knew that I wasn't.
Yes.
Which was creepy.
My left eye is like pulsating. It looks like almost like it's such an uncomfortable, like it looks like parts, specific features of my face are like pulsating.
Staring into the mirror for so long, it does feel like it's not really me staring back. You have that eerie feeling, worrying that the reflection is going to move in a way that you're not. So I think that's why it felt so creepy to like almost see that slight smile.
Especially with like lights that are kind of flickering a little bit. Like I feel like the change of the shadow with it already being so dark, it would be so easy to see stuff moving. That's not really.
It's funny and it's so silly, but I will like avoid looking into a mirror in the dark or like at night. Because it creeps me out.
I see something I don't want to.
Or if my reflection is not me. Like, I don't know, so many horror movies may be getting in my head, but yeah, this will definitely make me not want to look in the mirror anymore when it's dark. Yeah, it is creepy.
That's really cool, though. I would have never done this myself.
No, and if you had experienced this without taking this class, it would have been very easy to think that it was a ghost experience or something from beyond that was happening, right? It would be very easy to interpret it that way.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. This is my third group, and who have we got here?
I am Campbell Kerr.
Hey, Campbell, and?
I'm Trevor Lohner.
Trevor, nice to meet you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do glasses interfere at all with this?
I have glasses on and it did not, and other people have had glasses and it has not been a problem, but we could try both.
Awesome, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, have a seat.
Oh, I think I'm starting to see it a little bit.
What do you see?
Like my eyes look like really big and distorted. My eyebrows kind of look like angry. It's mind-boggling that the ghost is talking to me. I think I'm a spiritual conduit.
Oh, I love that. Now let's find out if Trevor is a spiritual conduit.
having a staring contest.
Is the ghost winning?
No, I am. I don't lose. Maybe I'm going to lose. He's not backing down. I just look confused in the mirror. I don't think I look confused. Kind of like I'm scared.
You don't seem scared.
No, our reflection does.
So your facial expressions seem different.
They do, yeah. Try and tell me something to be scared. I should probably listen.
You know what I find really funny about this is that it has to be such a specific environment for it to work. It's almost like the easier explanation is that the light behind you is distorting it rather than a ghost. And it's quite funny to think that people fall to that trap of ghosts so quickly.
I think it's a ghost.
Well, even myself, when we were kind of out there like looking for spirits, it is a little bit spooky. Even though it's like a safe community of like a university, you're still a little bit on that edge.
Yeah, you are.
That's very true. And did you guys find any ghosts when you were outside?
Oh, I got some crazy pictures. Of course we found some ghosts.
I think so.
And what did the ghost look like?
Oh, it had 2 big orb eyes and a big gaping mouth.
Yeah.
It's almost definitely, I can probably explain it once you see it.
Oh, that's great.
Do you want to know how that ghost came into existence?
I would love to.
So what I did is I spit right before I took the photo, and that's 2 big globs of spit getting caught in the light. And that big mouth you see, there's a hole at the end because there's a big blue kind of curtain. That's why it has that color to it.
Yeah.
So that hole is just like the absence of light behind it, and that's just spit being caught.
That's amazing. And yet, like in the presentation I did today, if you just put that up in Facebook or on Instagram and said, I got a ghost, people would believe.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
They would.
So if we can switch you guys out, because I think we're under a time constraint, that would be great.
We can try to scare him.
So I have the last group here. Who have I got?
Isabella. Yvonne.
Riley.
So far, have you found any ghosts?
We have not.
None?
No. Larry didn't want to speak to us.
I've heard that from a few groups. What about the orbs? Did you get any orbs?
We did actually find a couple of orbs, yes.
Oh, excellent. Okay, what do you see?
My face is just kind of like darker areas around my face and like my eyes. Kind of creepy looking.
Are they sort of black or are they white?
Black. I mean, it's kind of unsettling to see yourself like that, but I understand that it's not like anything scary, really.
Not something to worry about. All right, who's next?
My face is like a different shape. It's like long.
Oh, longer. Okay,
Yeah, that's good.
That's good? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's working. I don't know, I just look kind of ugly, honestly.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
So same thing for you?
I was kind of like, I didn't know how to describe it, but it was like almost like my face was kind of like old and like droopy almost, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your name?
Cass.
Cass, thank you for agreeing to be on the podcast. And your name?
Autumn.
Autumn. Welcome, and we're going to hopefully get freaked out a little bit.
No, I just keep seeing the face. Do you want to try?
Okay, Autumn. Let's see if you can experience this. So what's happening?
Black eyes and almost like black liquid is running down from them.
Wow. We've had quite a few people with black eyes, but that's the first liquid running down. Did it scare you, or is it just kind of cool?
Not really. It's familiar.
Oh, you've experienced that before?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. When have you experienced it, if you don't mind?
I have a mirror by my bed that's almost at the same angle, and similar thing happens when a candle's lit in front of it.
So you've actually done this kind of experiment before, and this is how you reacted?
Yes.
Wow, that was amazing. Did you want to try again, or are you done?
I think I'm okay.
All right.
With the mirror.
And it didn't help?
No.
Yeah.
I think maybe my glasses work too well.
Thank you very much. And I think we can turn the lights on now. We probably have to clean up. Well, that was fun. We had a great time with the students. What was your highlight, Kate?
I think my highlight was I was in the divination room, so we were dealing with Ouija boards and the divination board, and I think my highlight was having people get scared when they were talking to Larry.
That's really cool. And I was in the psycho thingy.
Psychomantium.
Yeah, I can never remember what it's called. So I've decided it's called the psycho thingy. And it was creepy. And the students, every single one but one, was really creeped out.
Have a scrying good time.
Until next time, this is
Kate
and Allie
from Concordia
University. Woo.
Hallo an alle Zuhörer aus Deutschland und natürlich alle Zuhörer aus aller Welt, die Deutsch sprechen. Obwohl dieser Podcast Englisch ist, hoffe ich, dass ihr trotzdem Freude daran habt, die Interviews und Meldungen anzuhören. Ihr könnt mehr über diesen Podcast auf www.skepticzone.tv erfahren. Time once again to go back to the archives, no matter where they are around the world, usually at trove at trove.nla.gov.au. Chock-a-block, full to the brim, with Australian newspapers and some from overseas. This week we are drifting. We are doing what Dick Smith did once and jumped on a hot air balloon and travelled. We are travelling to New Zealand, the land of the long white cloud. And hello to our colleagues in New Zealand and the Yeah Nah podcast from the New Zealand Skeptics. But of course, New Zealand, like Australia, has a long history of skeptical investigations. And we begin on the 27th of May, 1987. And I'm not exactly sure what newspaper this comes from. It's listed in the archives here as Press. Whether that was a newspaper or just a general listing. Anyway, Psychic to Submit to Tests by David Clarkson. Mr. Stuart Blundell plans to work out in a, quote, mental gymnasium, end quote, before putting his self-professed psychic powers to a scientific test. He agreed on a live radio broadcast in Christchurch last week to undergo the test. But after talking later to investigators, he decided to train to develop the psychic techniques needed for the test. Mr. Blundell, aged 45, says he wanted to be tested for a long time, but the Christchurch experiment will be the first opportunity. He was not pleased with the results of his demonstration on the radio program compared with other broadcasts he has done. During the session, the station was called by Dr. Chris Connolly, a senior lecturer in history at the University of Canterbury, who is secretary of the Committee for the Investigation of Claims of the Paranormal. Dr. Connolly said Mr. Blundell was using classic techniques of cold reading to gather or guess at information about the people he was talking to convince them of his powers. Before the psychic tests take place, Mr. Blundell will practice the procedures with a friend whom he says also has psychic powers. The investigators will ask him to try to receive telepathic messages from people in other rooms. They will try to send him messages selected from a series of numbers, pictures, or predetermined sentences. The lists of messages sent will then be compared to the lists of messages received, and the investigators will decide whether the psychic has done any better than chance. Mr. Blundell has advertised his ability to perform psychic readings and says he has been busy with 30-minute to 45-minute sessions at $35 each for several days. He is a former Wellington man now living in Australia and expects to be in Christchurch for several weeks. 1987, and his name was Stuart Blundell. Doesn't ring any bells with me, but we can have a quick look. And a general look on the internet is really not coming up with anything. So I suspect he was one of those people who just come and go. There have been hundreds and hundreds of people over the last decades claiming psychic ability. The only other references I'm getting is in the same newspaper which is a photograph of the man himself. And the caption reads, "A psychic reader, Mr. Stuart Blundell, with the tape recorder he uses to record psychic messages." And it just looks like a everyday sort of fellow. But what I'm not seeing is a follow-up. But now what I am seeing is a previous story dated 1983. Or should I say it's an advertisement with Stuart Blundell. And again, this comes to us from Press. And when is it? It's the 16th of December, 1983. And once again, we have a picture of the man in question, and the advertisement reads, "Psychic Readings, the Direct Telepathic Way." Hello, I've returned home to New Zealand after 22 years of living and travelling the world. The psychic abilities acquired along the way, I offer to help in whatever way I can. After a successful tour of Australia, I am now touring New Zealand and being booked out wherever I go. To give a clearer idea of what readings can give, a sample of what fellow Kiwis have written about their readings. And there's a little list here with a little star in front of every point. Too true and accurate to be false. Very impressive and helpful. Right on the dot. Marvellous, as if he had walked hand in hand with me. A lot of hope for the future. Would recommend anyone to go. He knew me. Each time I play my tape, I get more out of it. Fantastic. Come again. Readings for entertainment only are from 11:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. So as not to interrupt readings when phoning for an appointment, please only phone between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Bring tape only for recorded reading. Wouldn't it be interesting to hear one of those recordings? Now, despite my best efforts, that's the only references I can find to Stuart Blundell, so we wonder whatever happened to him. I can only suggest he didn't, in fact, participate in any real tests, or even if he did, he didn't do very well. Now, here's a story from 1988, once again in the pages of Press on the 17th of August, and this has to do with the Skeptics Awards given in New Zealand that year. And again, this is by David Clarkson. The, quote, listener, end quote, has won the annual Bent Spoon Award for repeatedly, quote, glorifying medical delusions, end quote, New Zealand's paranormal investigators announced last evening. The New Zealand Committee for the Scientific Investigation of Claims of the Paranormal, the Skeptics, criticised the magazine for, quote, being absurdly gullible in promoting the claims of a wide range of fringe medical therapies, end quote. The same magazine also features among the Skeptics Awards for journalistic excellence. They cited an article by staff writer Brett Riley on reincarnation and for a report by the Radio New Zealand reporter Emily Flynn on the debate about possible health hazards from amalgam dental fillings. The Skeptics say the Bent Spoon Award was named as a reminder of Uri Geller, who tricked experts and journalists into believing he could bend metal with his psychic power. The award will be presented next weekend at the Investigations Group's third annual meeting at the University of Auckland. The Skeptics chairman, Dr. Dennis Dutton of Christchurch, said, "We welcome balanced criticism of science-based medicine and attempts to test alternative therapies, but we are appalled at the way the listener manages to select articles which highlight the medical profession's scandals and failures, then naively accepts untested and pseudoscientific claims from the paramedical fringe." The Skeptics were also particularly concerned about a listener article on AIDS, Dr. Dutton said. New Zealand needs informed reporting on AIDS research and treatment. However, this article is a morass of confusions and unsubstantiated assertions. The article implied, without evidence, that modern medicine had helped to bring about the AIDS epidemic, and uncritically recounted a long list of unproven or discredited alternative therapies. The skeptics chose as runners-up in the bent spoon category the Taupo Times for what they call, quote, a credulous article on tarot readings, end quote, and the Marlborough Express for an article on divination. The Press, which is this newspaper I'm quoting from, figures amongst the Skeptics Awards for Excellence for an article by staff writer Ken Coates. The article was, quote, a very fair and well-researched investigation, end quote, of the assertions by a faith healer, Melvin Banks. A Radio New Zealand reporter, Hugh Young, will get one of these commendations for his investigation of the, quote, golden numbers, end quote, lotto scheme. The other excellence awards went to the presenters of TVNZ's, quote, we're only human, end quote, for an on-screen test of paranormal claims. Ooh, I'd like to see that. When was this? 1988. I wonder if that's floating around the ether somewhere. Quote, these showed how easy it is to masquerade as a psychic, end quote, the skeptic said. Amanda Kropp of the Dominion Sunday Times, for an account of how an expert in reincarnation tried to help her remember past lives. Awards for skeptical wit for Martin Gosling and Helen Keane of the Dominion Sunday Times for amusing accounts of their experience with the golden numbers lotto scheme and astrological forecasts. All these journalists have brought to the reporting of paranormal claims the same high standards which we have come to expect from journalists covering such areas as politics and business, Dr. Dutton said. Now looking back only a couple of years before that last story, so we're now in the year 1986, on the 8th of February, again from the press, skeptics to scrutinise paranormal claims. A New Zealand organisation of skeptics is being formed to help counter pseudoscientific claims and theories. A steering committee in Christchurch met yesterday to start work on setting up a committee for the scientific investigation of claims of the paranormal, PSYCOP. The organisation will probably be known as the New Zealand Skeptics. And in this situation, skeptics is spelt in this report with a C, SC, and is modelled on similar movements overseas. A University of Otago psychologist, Dr. David Marks, who has specialised in investigating the claims of mediums, chaired the first meeting. In August, the first annual conference of the skeptics will probably be held in Dunedin. Dr. Marks said the organisation would be able to help the news media and general public to scrutinise practices which could be disproved by scientific tests. Members of the organisation would be available to conduct tests of mediums and other people, many of whom had been unwilling to be tested in the past. If they will not be tested, we will take them to court, he said. It's a bit dramatic. Under the Summary of Offences Act, it is an offence to act as a medium with intent to deceive. Oh boy. Dr. Marks said that provisions of the Act had not yet been used in New Zealand. The Act did not apply to any activity done solely for the purposes of entertainment. Hence the disclaimers, I guess. Members of the steering committee included Dr. Dennis Dutton, a University of Canterbury lecturer in the philosophy of art who campaigned to have a Wellington psychic, Mrs. Mary Fry, stopped from what she said were communications with dead relatives and friends of callers over the radio. Mrs. Fry's Radio New Zealand contract was not renewed last year. Other committee members were a Victoria University biologist, a Massey University psychologist, and 2 Auckland humanists. Dr. Dutton will get equal time on the radio to comment on psychics and claims of a British psychic consultant, Carmen Rogers, who is visiting New Zealand. Equal time for skeptics, imagine that. It reminds me of a call I took on Talkback Radio when I was in the studios at 2GB here in Sydney many years ago, 15 years ago I guess it was, with host Glenn Wheeler, a lovely fellow who had to stop his radio career following an unfortunate moped accident where somebody ran into him. Nevertheless, we had a caller ringing up complaining that skeptics were on the radio, taking up time. And I seem to remember my comment at the time was, well, it's hardly like we get equal time. Every now and then, if you're lucky, once or twice a year, you might hear a skeptical voice on a network that, in those days anyway, would have regular psychics on. Anyway, we read on. Dr. Dutton said the committee needed to bring out the positive aspects of skepticism instead of just being negative about pseudoscientific assertions. The skeptics will produce a newsletter similar to those published in Australia and other countries. An international award of £250,000 was approved last year for anyone who could obtain a paranormal effect in front of impartial observers. Such an effect would be one that could not be explained scientifically. The New Zealand Committee intends to provide reliable information about paranormal claims and to encourage people to have a more critical attitude towards such claims and pseudoscientific theories, such as creationism. Skeptics say they will keep an open mind until satisfactory explanations are found and will not reject out of hand any paranormal claims without investigating them. They will avoid cynicism, which is not in the spirit of open-minded inquiry. PsyCop is a non-profit organization formed in 1976 by the American Humanist Association. The Australian branch was formed in 1981. And of course that was never called PsyCop in Australia. It was always known as Australian Skeptics. And finally from, again, the press, dated the 19th of June 1987. Talkback show set up, and set up is in inverted commas, a noise visiting medium by David Clarkson. A visiting spiritual medium is annoyed about being set up by two callers when he spoke on a radio talkback show yesterday in Christchurch. Mr. James Byrne, said to be one of Britain's best-known mediums, was fed false information by two university students who had been coached by a psychic investigator, Dr. Dennis Dutton. Of course, the classic line is, wow, if they were psychic, they should have known. During the radio show, sages from, quotation marks, dead, in quotation marks, parents, who were actually still alive, and spoke about non-existent relatives. The investigators said the incident cast doubt on the medium's credibility, but Mr. Byrne dismissed the skeptics as, quote, a shower of idiots, end quote. The Radio Avon talkback session took place a few hours before he was to perform at the Christchurch Town Hall's Limes Room. Mr. Byrne said it would be harder to trick him during one of his shows than over the telephone. If they think they can prove me a fraud, they are welcome to come along and try it, he said in an interview. Nobody has succeeded yet, and they have tried. Mr. Byrne has been working as a medium for 16 years and asserts he is one of only 3 well-known mediums out of Britain's total of 17,000. You don't get a good reputation like mine if everything you say is rubbish, he said. He would not accept the traps he fell into on the talkback session were any kind of test. If somebody is not being truthful with me, that is not a test. It's a bloody idiot thing to do, he said. The callers were university students from the University of Canterbury, Miss Jo Malcolm and Miss Shani Naylor. They said they were, quote, most unimpressed, end quote, by Mr. Byrne's messages. Miss Malcolm said, he was obviously doing cold reading. He is very skilled at picking up on what you say. He is able to think very quickly, and he is skilled at saying very general things. Dr. Dutton, who is the chairman of the New Zealand Committee for the Scientific Investigation of Claims of the Paranormal, also said Mr. Byrne was using cold reading, a technique used by people to convince others they had psychic powers. The committee has offered scientific testings for claimed psychics, but Mr. Byrne said his own powers had never been tested. How can you test something spiritual in a scientific way? He said. Well, there you go. Some references from across the ditch from New Zealand. And to answer Mr. Burns' question from 1987, well, it depends on the claim. If he's claiming he can talk to the dead or get psychic messages, then yes, that's absolutely testable. The trouble is, for psychics and their fans, whenever it's tested, it fails. And incidentally, these clippings come to us from the website paperspast.natlib.gov.nz. So that's paperspast.natlib.gov.nz. And a wonderful resource that is. I guess it's the New Zealand equivalent to TROVE. And that's certainly a website I will now keep in my bookmarks. Psychics in New Zealand on the radio and being tested, which just goes to show that when you go to TROVE, or in this case, the New Zealand equivalent, well, you never know what you might find. Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast this week. Stay tuned next week. No, tune in again next week. You can stay tuned, but I don't think it'll do you much good. Tune in again next week for another report from Kate and Allie looking for ghosts. Also, we hope to bring you a report from Skeptics in the Pub with the talk by Kate Thomas. And if you come along, you can be on the Skeptic Zone too. How about that? There's another incentive. Also coming up on next week's show, talking about Kate Thomas, we'll have another Woo Watch with Kate. I wonder what Woo she'll be watching. Australian Skeptics newsletter, and part 2 of our look at skeptical activities as reported in the New Zealand press. Thank you to those people who continue to support the Skeptic Zone at skepticzone.tv via PayPal or Patreon. Thank you to those people who contribute or donate every now and then to keep the show going. And it's so important that these people sponsor the show. I can't tell you. It really does make the difference. And thank you to those people who've just come on board as subscribers, so to speak, with maybe $5 a month here and there. It certainly goes a long way. I think I've got my eye on a new microphone. Hello, Susan Gerbic. How are you? We haven't had a chinwag for a long time to talk about microphones. Anyway, the Rode people who do not sponsor the show, but I use their products, are bringing out a new wireless microphone in December, which looks particularly nice. And I think I can use that, especially if I tell you that in December, Skeptics in the Pub, we have a live podcast, Why Smart Women Zone, the combination of the Skeptic Zone and the Why Smart Women podcast. Richard Saunders and Annie McCubbin will be hosting a series of special guests live from Sydney Skeptics in the Pub. But that's coming up on the first Thursday in December. But for this week, this is Richard Saunders signing off from an overcast Sydney, Australia.
You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Please visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for episodes and show notes with links going back to 2008. You can follow the Skeptic Zone on Facebook, X, TikTok and YouTube by clicking the links at our homepage, together with links to support the show financially via Patreon or PayPal. The Skeptic Zone is an independent production. The views and opinions expressed by our guests are not necessarily those of the Skeptic Zone podcast or any other skeptical organisation.